Hey, what's going on? B Frank here, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you haven't yet, subscribe, like, and comment to these videos. A lot of them are going to pertain to food. We're going to be in the kitchen. I'm going to be showing you some new things, recipes, but I'm also going to be going out and taste testing a lot of different foods in the Pittsburgh and surrounding area. Today, it's an exciting day for me because I was on the computer about 3 months ago, and that ad popped up in my face. And I don't know about you, but I've never had dry aged steak before. Not at a steakhouse, nowhere. So I always heard about how delicious it was. Oh my God, it just makes the steak want to melt in your mouth. But you know what? I took advantage. I went and bought it. And just to give you a quick rundown, it's called dry aging bags. It's called dry aging bags. Okay? It says the dry aging bag system is based on unique breathable membrane technology that provides a perfectly safe environment for each piece of meat and allows it to develop that special dry age flavor and texture that people crave. I don't know about you, but that just sold me right there. So I went ahead and got me a boneless ribeye, and I dry aged it about 60 days ago. I was told that you can go for about 45 to about 60 days. I like to push things, so we at that 60 day right now, and I'm excited to pull this thing out and slice into it and see what it looks like. Let's go ahead and let's come with me. I want you guys to come along with this process. But first off, let me pull this out the fridge and give you guys a look. Look at this thing, man. Look at this. You see this? Look at this. Yes, we about to dig into this thing, man. This is crazy. So yeah, this is 60 days of dry aging in the fridge. And I had it on a dry rack. And every week I would come down and I would just flip it. And about 30 days in, I came in, I put a new bag on it, did the same thing, sucked out all the air. And then every 7 days I came back down and flipped it. So now it's time for us to get into this bad boy. Let's get it. All right, it's time, baby. Let's dig into this thing. Now I didn't know which I needed, so I came prepared. Got my butcher cleaver, and then I got my other boy. Let's dig into this. Yeah. Okay, let's sharpen our knife first. Ooh, woo. See all that marbling? Oh man, I can't wait. All right, time to cut our steaks. About 1.5 inches. Alright, we got our steak now. Piece that decided I'm gonna cook. Leave that marbling way. Now it's time to trim off this excess stuff. All right, let's get to it. There we go. Now we got our steak. Trimmed it. Now it's ready to go. Hey, what's going on? Had to relocate. Right now, I'm at my parents' house. If I was gonna do a taste test, I had to do a taste test with somebody I know who's gonna be extremely honest with me, and that's my dad. He only eats steak one way and one type for the most part, which is filet mignon. So I got a filet, but I also got my ribeye ready at the same time. So he only eats meat at well done. So today we're gonna put meat in front of him, well done, medium well, and then medium. He's not gonna know which type, but we're gonna get his reaction, and then at the end we're gonna get him to tell us which one he thinks was the best. All right, so let's get to it. Don't have any cracked black pepper, so this is just gonna have to do. All right, we got our medium well piece. We got our well done. We got our medium. We're gonna go ahead and cut into these, get them ready, and then we'll go find our contestant. You don't need to wear it right now. You're gonna be. Hey, what's going on? Right now, it's the part that I've been waiting for over the last 45 days. Next to me, I got the man, the myth, my dad, Bobby Franklin. He is the most, how can I put it nicely? He'll tell you how he feels about your food regardless of whether you want to hear it or not. So I felt like he was the perfect person to bring on to this challenge. And I've never had dry aged steak. He's worked in corporate he worked in corporate for over 37 years. For a Fortune 100 company? Yes. So he's traveled all around the world. He's ate at great restaurants. He swears by where? Ruth Chris, and what other places do you frequent whenever you were traveling?
When I was traveling, probably, as far as steakhouses, Hyde Park,
okay,
Ruth Chris, Ben Benson's, several steak restaurants in New York City. New York City has a plethora of steak-oriented restaurants, and they're all outstanding.
So I know you frequent a bunch in your time. So he only eats, well, let me put it this way. He taught me how to order steak at a young age, and it was always well. And it didn't take me until I actually started cooking for myself and getting into the kitchen to start bringing it back a little bit and cooking my meat around medium well at the most. So why do you choose to have your meat at at well, even though people have told you, oh, you got to try it this way? Why?
Well, in everything that I choose to do, I try to do my due diligence and do research and history on everything, and that's food content also. Working in the sales industry, I was eating out 3-4 days, nights a week, and I was overly concerned with everything that I read, that I was overly concerned about eating underprepared and uncooked foods.
Okay.
And health issues that would potentially come down the road by eating undercooked prepared meals. And it's just not meat. It's seafood, fish, almost any meat consumption product. I'm just overly concerned about the fact that the negative impact it has on your internal system by eating undercooked and underprepared foods.
And see, me personally, I've learned that the quality of meat that you have, and how it's prepared, obviously dictates the taste in the full essence of everything. So I can respect and understand you going out to restaurants and not being sure. So you want to make sure it's dead to its most maximum capacity. But today we're gonna try something new. Like I said, he usually only eats fillets. What other type of steak do you eat?
Filet is my favorite. Flank is something that Bobby introduced me to a couple years ago, and I really enjoy that. Sirloin. I've had T-bone. I've had ribeye. I haven't exclusively been to one particular steak. I've tried a majority of many types of steaks, but I guess at the top of the list, the filet has been one of my consistently chosen favorites over the years.
It's the most tender, so it's understandable. But today I've never really had ribeye personally. It was always filet, sirloin, Delmonico. Was always either the steaks of my choice, but I heard ribeye was a great choice whenever you're dry aging meat. So that's why I ended up going this direction. So what we're gonna do now is, so we don't get thrown off by the look, or we can tell by the look, I'm gonna have him throw on a blindfold. I prepared everything, so I pretty much know what's coming out. I've never tasted the dry age, so I'll be able to notice a difference, but I want to see if he's able to taste the difference between what he's used to eating his meats at well compared to a medium well and it being dry aged. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, I believe we're ready for option one. All right, here's your fork. Okay. It's right here. It's a small little piece. You don't have to cut it at all. You just take the fork. There you go. All right, first one. Let's try it. It's a little cold just because it's been sitting out. But what's your thoughts?
That was the first complaint that I have, is that I don't enjoy cold meat or cold food, period.
So could you tell the difference? What was that?
The taste was good, texture is good.
Okay.
Not difficult to chew and consume. I mean, some meats are tough if they're overcooked, and there's degrees of well. I mean, you can cook a steak well done and it can still have the flowing juices and it can taste delicious. But it depends on the quality of restaurant you are and the quality of chef that's cooking it, because when you order well, a lot of cases, some of these cooks or so-called chefs don't know how to prepare them, and they overcook it and dry it out. So the true test of a quality chef is the fact that because someone orders a well-done piece of meat, that it doesn't have to be cooked overly dry and tough to chew. I've had plenty of quality eaten steaks of all brands at quality restaurants that cook well-done steaks that's extremely juicy and easy to cut and easy to chew and process.
Yeah. No, and like you said, it's all about how it's prepared. If somebody knows how to cook something, then you don't have to have a dry steak just because it's well done. But that steak, it wasn't bad. It was good. It wasn't the feel wasn't too tough in your mouth whenever you're chewing it. But like I said, it was the cold feel. Ma, can you throw that in the microwave for like 5 seconds? We're gonna wait on the next one. We're gonna have her heat this one up, and hopefully this one's a little bit better. So yeah, outside of Ruth Chris, and well, I don't want to say outside of, what is your go-to? I know you've been out of the country too. Where would you say, if you had all of them lined up, where are you gonna pick?
I would say the Palm is an excellent high quality, top shelf level of steakhouse.
What are you talking about? The Palm in Las Vegas?
And it's either Las Vegas, Los Angeles, New York City.
Okay.
And I've eaten at all three, and the quality is top shelf at the Palm. From a standpoint of the quantity of meat you get, the quality of the meat that you get, and it's not grossly overpriced.
We don't have those around here, so
No.
I don't think I've ever had a steak from the Palms.
Well, if you go to the Palm at any of their locations, Las Vegas, you want to have the steak and lobster.
Okay.
And it is off the charts excellent.
Okay, so right now we got our next piece of meat right in front of us, and this is to medium well as well. So we're gonna go ahead. I had to throw it in the microwave to heat it up for a quick 5 seconds. So let's get to it. Okay. Now, can you tell the difference between that and the first one?
Texture is very similar. I mean, easy to chew.
Any
nice
easier,
flavor.
Any
taste.
easier?
Not really. I mean, not to a point where I can differentiate one from the other.
Okay.
Easy to chew. The texture feels good. The taste is good.
Would you go back for another?
I would order both of those.
Yeah, that was, in my opinion, I agree. I feel like this one melts in my mouth a little bit more than the other one. Less I have to do to make it disappear into my stomach. To be honest with you, I like that piece a lot more, and I think it might be because it was warm. I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
It was warm, so I think that made a difference. But we got one more coming. Okay.
Well, the difference between the temperature of the second steak and the first one, if the first steak, if I could eat the first steak, which was cold, and it was chewable, easy to digest, and I still had the taste in it. It's tough eating a cold piece of meat.
With
any
anything,
meat,
right?
So for me to even say I would eat that piece of meat again with it being cold says something about the quality of the first piece of meat also.
Right. All right. We got our last one coming. Let's see what the verdict is. What's your thoughts on the flavor? Could you tell a difference in the flavor between the two?
Yes.
Okay.
Texture of the meat also. This was a delicious piece of meat. I mean, it's something, and I can tell you, I've eaten a lot of different kinds of steaks. I don't think I've ever eaten this type of steak. I mean, I can tell in the way it tastes and feel in my mouth as I chew it.
Yeah.
I mean, and the other two is similar to things I probably had over my lifetime, but this one, it had a different, and I guess I want to describe this right, a different texture to it.
Yeah.
It has a different.
Did it like was it
melting?
Melted,
it was
yeah.
like melting in your mouth. It was yeah. This was noticeably different than any piece of meat I've eaten over the course of my journey.
Okay. Good. Now that wraps up our taste test. You can take the blindfold off. Okay, Mom.
Okay.
Do you want to let us know what order we just had our pieces in?
Okay, the first steak.
So the first steak we had, which was cold.
That was the cold one. That was the ribeye medium well.
Okay, so that was the end cap of the ribeye that I ended up bringing over. It was a smaller piece, and I cooked it at a medium well. Now, this was towards the end, so it wasn't the middle piece of the ribeye, so it's a different. It was a different texture, but that cold piece, it definitely was my least favorite out of all three of them.
The second one was the ribeye, and it was medium.
Okay.
Cooked medium.
And then once you put it in the microwave, it cooked it a little bit above. Mm-hmm. So that was the second one we had.
Yes.
Okay.
And the last one was a filet, and it was well.
And that was his choice. That's his go-to.
So I guess I can tell the difference between the textures of the meats that I'm eating based on the fact that I was blindfolded and not seeing what I was eating, but I was actually tasting what I eat.
And it goes to show, well, he knows what he likes. I literally blindfolded him for that specific reason, so he couldn't look at it and be like, I don't want this or I don't want that, or I could tell the difference. And it trips me out that he was still able to find,
even though he thought it was
something different.
Right.
Something different. But it was also the quality of meat too that was presented to him. So that goes to show. I thought the second one, there was a different taste to it, but I want to say the filet was way tenderer to me. It was a tender meat to me. It didn't feel like that sirloin being dry aged for that long tenderized it to the point where I could tell a difference over the filet.
So which one of them was the dry aged steak?
The first two were the dry aged, and then the third one wasn't.
Okay, and my comments on the first two is that I would order either one of those with no question. I mean,
and they were good.
The only difference is the taste of the first one. I would always send that first piece of meat back because I don't eat cold steaks. So
it gotta be.
But once that second one was warm,
yeah.
The taste of it, the taste came out more because it was heated and warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was when you eat, and that's with any cold piece of meat. I mean that you eat. You get once you provide the heat and start generating the juices within the meat, that gives it a better quality taste also when it's cooking. Cooked.
I can't eat cold stuff, and I know growing up I've seen people eat cold pizza and cold stuff out of the fridge, and I never got into that. I never understood it, but that's a different conversation.
But people knock the fact that they think by cooking a steak well done, you're doing it a displeasure. But like I said, it all depends on the quality of the chef and understanding how to prepare a well done piece of meat. You can have a well done piece of meat that's easy to digest, easy to chew, and that's juicy as any other piece of meat. But when you get dry, well done cuts of meat, it more so speaks about the quality of the chef preparing it versus the quality of the piece of meat that you're eating.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that goes to show it's all about the quality, and it's about the chef that's preparing it. Yeah. And that's a wrap for this taste test. There will be many more. If you like this, like, comment, and subscribe, and you'll see more of these videos to come. I'll be definitely getting him involved in more of these as well. Peace.
Peace.